Happy New Year and welcome back to the Regular Guys Podcast. Y'all know what that sound means, man. It's the last week of the regular season. Freaking amazing. Last week of a nice long football season. This is it. The final regular season show of the year is going to be playoffs from here up until the off season, and then as football goes, there is no season like the off season. We started this ride months ago, training camp, talk, preseason questions, hot takes, injuries, surprises, big losses, big wins. And here we are now, week 18, the last stop before the playoffs. Today is all about who's in, who's out, who's surviving after today and tomorrow. If your team is still alive, today matters. If your team is eliminated, the rebuild starts now. Either way, it's football in January, and nothing beats that. I'm Mike. Appreciate you rocking with us all season. Let's finish the regular season the right way and set the tone for the playoffs. All right, we're back again. Happy New Year to everybody. We're going to jump right into it. Here's what we're covering in the show today. We are covering teams that already clinched the playoffs, teams that have been eliminated, playoff scenario still alive, big week 18 matchup with real stakes, injuries, and rest updates that change everything, Vegas line and games we like, and predictions heading into the postseason. Let's jump into it. So I'm gonna jump into today, basically with the playoffs, last games of the season, of the regular season, going into the off season. But I think what we need to jump into is a lot of the off-season action that is going to be happening. And from what we've been seeing and hearing throughout the media, one, I want to get into Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. From what we're hearing and reading and seeing, Mike Tomlin might take a year or two off from the sidelines and go into TV, which would be a different approach, which I had the Steelers actually looking totally different without Mike Tomlin being there. That Mike Tomlin's style of coaching that he does, that Mike Tomlin's style of his culture that he has brought to the Steelers and everything, that'll be something totally different and something that would definitely be missed with Mike Tomlin being there. Not being there, but him being on TV, it'd be very interesting because we would like to hear his insights and see how he see the game from a different perspective, from not being on the sidelines, but actually being there, watching it from TV, or being an analyst and calling it, or just being in the studio talking about it, analyzing it, and just picking certain, I guess, teams apart. And because we know that's Mike Tomlin. The other major news that's coming out is seeing that Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders, and we know Joe Witt won't return as the D coordinator for Washington, but you might see a different offensive coordinator there from what has been read and what has been said and everything. How would that affect what Jaden did his rookie year and this year as well? I think it'll definitely, it won't be different. It'll be kind of the same because of them having, I'm gonna say, them still having the right coordinators there that is been part of the offense for a while. And to me, if we do lose Cliff Kingsbury, offense will probably look different. It'll probably look more like a run heavier offense, or it'll probably look like Philly's offense, where Philly is kind of confused on what they're doing. You know, Philly had last week, they jumped ahead. They put 23 up in the first half, and then the second half they got shut out, which is the reason why Buffalo came back like Buffalo did. Buffalo should have won that game, but the pass that Josh Allen threw to a wide open receiver, he misplaced the ball. So, but Philly been doing that all year, and I don't see Philly changing that style. What I do see is if Philly don't change that style, that the Eagles will be a quick one and done team. And I think with Philly being a quick one and done team, that is going to affect a lot of people. And what they're and basically what they are hoping is a third Super Bowl run for the Eagles. I don't think so. I don't have it happening at all. So like I said, we're going to be talking a lot of playoffs, but we're also going to be talking a lot of off season during the playoff times. We do got a slew of games Sunday, but we also got two that I want to jump into today, which is Carolina and Tampa, and San Fran against Seattle. It's going to be big because if Carolina wins, then Carolina will win the division. And that'll be strange seeing Carolina from what they was last year to what they are this year, and the way that everybody was talking about Bryce Young and how they thought Bryce Young was a bust, and how they thought the head coach Dave Canales wasn't that guy. But if you've seen what they're doing now at 8-8, with a chance to have a winning season with 9 wins, playing a Tampa Bay team that's 7-9, 4:30 today is going to be, something to watch. Do I think Tampa? Think Tampa has a chance, but they're going to need some help. And then with Atlanta playing New Orleans, and if Atlanta beats New Orleans, Atlanta beat 8-9, and they will knock Tampa out. So Tampa needs help. Carolina really doesn't need help, which they're in that win-win situation no matter what. The other game that's huge, which is the Saturday night game at 8 p.m., is Seattle and the 49ers. Now, this is not just for the division. This is for the number 1 seed. This is for basically teams in the NFC or the AFC trying to jump on and basically getting themselves in position to be that number 1 seed. My co-host is on here, William Young. Say what's up to everybody. We're waiting for our guests to come on. They are running a little bit behind, but I'm going to basically get into what I've been doing is basically we're going over the playoffs because the regular season, we're going over the regular season right now. This is the last week of the regular season. So from here on out, this is, playoff football that we're going to be talking about and that we're going to be doing.
Did you get my fix?
Yeah, I got your picks and everything. But I also want to get in and get your feelings behind what I talked about with I started earlier on Mike Tomlin maybe leaving the Steelers and going to do TV for probably a year or two. What you think about that? Being a Ravens fan.
Let's take being a Ravens fan.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right, right. Well, yeah, to me, it's how they adapt even better and how their coaching will be. I think their coaching will be much better too. Also, I'm seeing reports of we already know Joe Wick ain't coming back as a defensive coordinator in Washington. But right, yeah, he's not coming back as defensive coordinator. They're actually looking for a new D coordinator right now. So, look for Brian Flores or somebody that might jump into that thing if he doesn't get a head coaching spot. But the other thing is Cliff Kingsbury, and they saying whether he gets a head coaching job or not, Washington may move on from Cliff Kingsbury as well. Um, right, and I think a lot of people feel like you feel. I think the play calling was a little bit predictable. Um, he wasn't disguising. He wasn't disguising a lot of stuff like he should. So I think a lot of it, yeah, I'm going to say yeah. I agree. I think if they go ahead, right, 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 and I'm one of them where I'm like this. I'm one of them. I'm like this. We're in a good predicament no matter how you look at it because they still got Bobby Johnson there. He can call the offense, but you have a quarterback now that you can say, hey, can we put him in the pocket? Can we keep him out of the pocket? Everything. So it's going to be interesting seeing the offseason moves that Washington is going to do, um, given the fact that, like I said, they may be losing not just their offensive coordinator, but they know the defensive side of the ball. They're basically done. Um, I yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree, and I agree with the fact that they definitely need to get besides getting younger on defense. I think they got to get also faster, but they also got to get smarter too because you got to look at your back end, your safeties. You got to look at your corners. You got to look at your linebackers. You got to look at your defensive line. It's a lot that you got to look at on that side of the ball. Your offensive side of the ball is something that you have to look at too, and that is, you know, them being the offensive side of the ball you got to look at is this: are you going to bring your receiver core back and don't let what happened happen before? So that's the thing that I'm looking at is this: are you going to have your receiving core that you have come back and don't make the same mistake that you made before with the receiving core? Don't do what basically don't do basically, don't make the same mistake that you made last time when you got rid of basically your core of your receivers. And I think if they go into the offseason doing that, they'll be fine. Um, and like I said, it's then you got to look at these other teams out here that is basically going to be going through the same thing. What's that? What's that? I agree. I agree totally. Oh, you talking to shoot Steve Smith, senior, um, Anquan Bolden. It's been a bunch of them. Right. Yeah, that's true. Right. 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 Yeah, no, I agree. And we got our two guests on here too. We got the Dallas Cowboy fan, Belinda, and Raiders fan, Collins. Welcome to the show, y'all. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. Well, the whole thing is, and I definitely want to get y'all take on it too. Is reports that are surfacing. It's two different reports, so by two different teams. So one report is that has surfaced is Mike Tomlin is thinking about taking a year or two off and doing TV, and then getting back into coaching. That will basically change. That will basically, yes, Mike Tomlin. It says right here that the Steelers, that no matter what happens, okay, that Mike Tomlin could look at a reset with Pittsburgh roster potentially going through one season, two, and then take a year or two in TV before returning to the sidelines. When, well, I'm gonna give you my take on that, and then I'm gonna hold my take on that, and I'm getting ready to get to the next story, which is also the fact of everybody knows Washington has gotten rid of their D coordinator. Now it seems Cliff Kingsbury may be on the hot seat no matter what. If he get a head coaching job, or even if he doesn't, they're looking at changing coordinators on that too. So my thing on the Mike Tomlin one is I think Mike Tomlin not only wants to do a reset to get for TV, but I think what Mike Tomlin wants to do is get a better look at how everything is going in TV. Just like I'm gonna say, what's his name? Tony Romo. The way that Tony Romo be calling the games and he be like, oh, that when you're on the sideline, when you're looking at it from the TV or the analyst perspective, you learn better. So, and I think a lot of coaches now is going to be doing that, and they're going to be learning what their mistake is and catching up with the game, and not, as you say, Collins, going back to the old school style of football. Cal Shanahan. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And then now, to me, I'm gonna tell you, they will be good if they do that, either one of them. But I think a name that really needs to come out of TV and get back on the sideline, and me, we have talked about this a lot. To me, Jason Garrett. Jason, no, Jason Garrett. I think Jason Garrett needs to get from the side, get from out of TV and back onto that sideline because Jason Garrett, if you look at what he did in Dallas, he had a record of 74-23 in Dallas. Okay, he took. Right, right. But then if you go into to conditioning and like Will was talking about, you got to look at these strength and condition coaches and the way because it's a lot of injuries that has been like, where's all these injuries coming from? And a lot of it has to do with strength and conditioning. If you get a team like if you look at San Fran that was decimated last year, they was decimated because of their strength and their conditioning. But now, if you look at them this year, they're one game away from being a number one seed. Right, 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 right. Yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So, and then another thing that I got into before y'all came on is we got two good games today against we got Carolina and Tampa at 4:30, and then we got Seattle. We got San Fran and Seattle at 8, which is two good games. I'm gonna tell you the one game that I'm really looking forward to. That's a surprise game to me is the Carolina Tampa game. And if you looked at the way that everybody was talking about Bryce Young and how they thought Bryce Young was going to be that bust, but Bryce Young is now making everybody eat crow because all the Panthers have to do is win and they clinch the division. Tampa, Tampa, or they need help. They need to win, and they got to have the Falcons at least lose a game. So my thing is, what have y'all seen with Carolina that made them do this big turnaround? Okay, right? Yeah, Right. 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 I agree. Yeah, even though he's not there this year, but I think that, and then the addition of the players that they brought on both the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, because like I say, all they got Panthers can win or tie, and they win the division. So and then I think the other one, which is huge to me, which a lot of people didn't see this one coming, is San Fran at Seattle. And Seattle can get the division and the number one seed with a win. All the 49ers have to do is just win, and they got it. So, yeah. Y'all finally got something right. I agree. Well, I know they're not. I know they're not. They're not going nowhere. But me and Will just was talking about that. And my thing is, they got to look at, besides the fact that if they let Cliff Kingsbury walk, which is probably going to be the case. With what you got in offense, if you don't do what you did last year, because to me, I still didn't get the gist of, in college, this, that it, and Belinda, y'all know this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. And my thing is, you got a team that went to the NFC Championship game last year. Okay. You have over $100 million of cap space, but you couldn't bring back the players that was the actual role players that helped De'Ami Brown, Zacchaeus, Dante Fowler, Colin Farrell. You let a lot of the people from last year walk, instead of just saying, "Hey, we're going to keep y'all, but we're going to add Debo. We're going to add Larry Thompson. We're going to add," which was a big bust to me, Marshawn Lattimore. So that that it was a good signing. Yeah, Yeah, until that groin injury got to him, and he ain't been the same since. Yeah, yeah. Debo only missed one game, and that game he didn't even want to miss, and that was because he had a sore Achilles. He only missed one game being with us. Yeah, but as we say, it goes on strength and conditioning. That's the thing. I think that's why he went and got Brady, and I think with Tom Brady, where Right. All right. I agree. All right, let's get into the Sunday games. Where you got Jacksonville versus Tennessee. To me, that's going to be a pride game for Tennessee. You got Denver versus the Chargers. You got the Patriots at Miami. You got Houston with the Colts. You got Buffalo against the Jets. You got Green Bay and Minnesota. But the one that I want to jump on before I get into the other ones is this Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, so So to me, the Pittsburgh game, yeah, yes. This is the last game of the regular season. No, everybody plays 17 games. No, you're right. It's 16 games. It's 16 because it's 17 games. Right, right. Yes. No, well, no, you're right. This is week 18, okay, that's coming up. It's 17 games that they're playing. This today and Sunday is the 17th and final game for everybody. Okay. No, right. You count the bye week as a week. So if you count the bye week that's included in that week, it's 18 weeks. They include the bye week on everybody's schedule. They have to. Right, right. But yeah, so well, 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 I'm gonna give you my take on that. Okay. I I like the bye week. I just don't like the way that they're doing the bye weeks. Okay. To me, if you got a team that's playing, if you got a team that's playing on a Thursday night, okay, that Thursday night, they get what they call a mini bye. They get 10 days off. So my thing is this: if you play one, two, maybe three Thursday night games, you should not get a bye week at all because you're getting your bye week on that Thursday night game. Because right after that Thursday night game, you're off for 10 days. Yeah, what's up? No, no, no. The reason why you can't do that is in the league. Tuesday is a mandatory day off in the league. Okay, so if you move it to Friday, that means that they're going to be off Saturday, Sunday, but then they got to practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like that. So you don't right, right. Plus Friday's the travel day. Yeah, so that's why you you can't do that. No, that's too much football right there. Yeah, yeah, no. Nah. Well, right. Well, that's the thing too about the international games. It's the same. To me, I say this: preseason should only be 2 games. That's it. Preseason should only be 2 games. One for the vets and one for the rookies. That's it. And then jump into the season. Right. Now, 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 now the 2 games I want to get into, like I said earlier, the one I can wait on, which is the Buffalo game, because that's going to be their last game at that Highmark Stadium, their new stadium next year. But the one I want to get into is the Steelers and the Ravens. That game to me is going to be it's going to be a close game. Given the fact it's the winner take all game. But again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, I'm gonna say it like I've been saying it to you, Will. If Harbaugh don't mess up, y'all got a chance to win. He has to get out of his way, and he can't do that. I'm I've read that, I've seen that, and everybody knows that's a crock of crap. But again, and like I said before, if Harbaugh gets out of his way, y'all will win. But we know, and Harbaugh ain't gonna get out his way because he's gonna make a bonehead call that. And I told you this before, and he's famous for this. He will make a bonehead call to blow the game. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to make a bonehead call that's going to blow the game. I told you that in one other game, and guess what? He did it, and you said, Mike, you was right. He is in the way, and he has to learn to set his ego aside and realize it ain't me, it's everybody. And that's yeah. If Harbaugh don't mess up, y'all can win the division and be one and done. But again, if Harbaugh messes up, which I got him doing, y'all gonna be on that Cancun boat. Yeah, yeah, it is because of the fact to me, he's been in Baltimore long enough. He should have been gone. Right. Well, I ain't gonna say that. No, no. Okay. They ran the ball. I, the only reason why I can't agree, no, 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 you want to take a picture. Right. But you was talking about ratings and everything else, right? And what shocked me was this, okay? And I'm still trying to figure out what they're drinking at NFL headquarters, okay? You give Washington. I'm thinking our game against the Eagles was going to be a 1 o'clock game. You give them their ninth national televised game at 4:25. That right there tells me a lot about the league and what the league is trying to do. You no, not if you're playing. The Eagles aren't playing for anything. They're already in. They won the division. They're in. They're, they're resting their starters. It's no need for us to be at 4:25. Put us at 1 o'clock and get the day over with. It ain't a sore loser. It's the thing of you got people in the way. No, because they ain't do that. They should have just kept us at 1 o'clock, got the game over with, and then went from there. You gave them a standalone. You gave them a standalone game at 4:25 for what? 1 o'clock. What time do I eat? Around 3:30, 4 o'clock. My game would have been over with. I would have just sat down and watched the rest of the games. The 4 o'clock game. What? No, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what was the point of it. It's no, we're out of it. We're done. That's been accepted. Right. That's what I'm saying. So they could have gave that spot to me. Yeah, but they're out. The thing is, if you're out of it, is no need to put them in the slot that could have went to another team. That could have went to Denver and well that is going well Denver then played in. That could have went to no, not Kansas City and the Raiders. Right. That 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 could have went to that could have went to well San Fran is at 8. Oh wow. Yeah, that could have went to nobody because I'm looking at the schedule right now and really ain't no games really meaning anything in week 18. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. But you know, like I said, the Steelers Ravens game, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a low scoring game, but it's gonna be a good game, especially in Pittsburgh. Why you say that? The Browns? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, what does that have to do with the fact of saying, well, you got to realize they didn't have J.J. Watt out there. They didn't have a couple of, if they had J.J. Watt and a couple of others, yes, it does. If, T.J. Watt. No, if yeah, well, they was also missing their interior defensive tackle. They've been missing him for a while. Okay, but their interior defensive tackle will be back. A lot of their players on defense that was hurt is back for this game. Yeah. And guess what? He still ain't the star because I don't know. Right, 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 right. So, man, well, hey, that's through the league. That's everywhere. That's through the whole league. But then, like you said, you got some that wants to play, and you got some that don't want to play. So it is what it is. But what's going to happen? But guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? They're going to keep feeding Henry the ball, and he's going to do just what he did in that Buffalo game. Fumble, fumble, fumble. Well, they did. The thing is this, and Will, you got to realize one thing that's going to change. Okay, you got to realize one, and I done told you this. This is Derrick Henry. Y'all really don't. Y'all really didn't need Derrick Henry. Okay, what, what's going to change is last week y'all didn't have Lamar behind center, and now with Lamar behind center, Derrick Henry ain't gonna run the ball like he ran the ball. No, no. Tell me this year. Tell me this year how many 200 plus yard games Derrick Henry done had with Lamar in the lineup. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. The do you know why? Do you know? Do you know why they're not going to do that? Huh? No, they're not going to do that. No, they're not going to do that because of the fact Lamar. This is why they put Derrick Henry every time in the fourth quarter. Lamar, go win this game. Lamar, go win this game. Lamar, go win this game. As long as Lamar is out there, Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry will not be out there in the fourth quarter of this game. This is why I said Harbaugh is going to get in his own way. Right? No, yes, it is. Listen, Lamar, show me this whole year. One game, okay? Besides that Green Bay game, and matter of fact, Lamar wasn't even inside that Green Bay game, that Derrick Henry played the whole entire game. That he played into the fourth quarter. That he was out there in the fourth quarter. Dude, Stevie Wonder is blind. And Stevie Wonder can see that. Again, again. Listen, listen. Don't be disappointed. Don't be disappointed when Harbaugh, and I'm not saying the offensive coordinator, when Harbaugh pulls Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter. Don't be disappointed when they stop running the ball in the fourth quarter because Harbaugh is going to do that. Harbaugh is going to do that. Listen to me, and you know this. Every time I say Harbaugh makes a wrong decision, he does. Again, they ran the ball. Question, question, question. And that's why they've been pulling him. That's why they've been pulling Derrick Henry because it's supposed to be unstoppable. Come on, man. Lamar Jackson makes $52 million. Okay, he's getting ready to make 75 million. Okay, are you gonna put? Are you gonna put the ball? You want to put the ball in your $52 million quarterback hand or in your $12 million running back hands? Okay. You wear glasses, right? You you wear glasses, right? Hey, Will. Yeah, Aaron Glenn. All right. Aaron Rodgers' last game. It might be Aaron Rodgers' last game. It might not be. Right. Oh, that's just like Ben Johnson. Everybody knew that Ben Johnson was going to and that always leaks out the week of the Super Bowl or the week before the end of the season. That always leaks out. And that's what if you go back, right. Yeah, well, real quick on that note, and then we're gonna go to the picks. If you look at it, when Atlanta went to the Super Bowl and they played New England, when Kyle Shanahan found out at halftime he was getting the 49ers job, that he got accepted, that he was actually getting, if you see how they played the second half, they played the second half because of the way that, hey, I'm not gonna be here, so I'm good. Okay. They also they they also which a lot of people don't know, they have in they have in they have in the coaches contracts that says if you or your team win and y'all take it to that, your team goes all the way, you have to play out the last remaining year of your contract. So in order for them not to do that, that's when Washington went in there and beat Detroit and said, hey, y'all good to go. Okay. The only reason why Kellen Moore got to leave was because somebody didn't want Kellen Moore no more in Philly. Because he didn't look at Philly offense now and look at Philly offense when he was there. Okay. Kellen Moore, no, but if you notice, Philly was doing more running last year than they was this year. Nick Sirianni didn't want that. Sirianni wants what's his name? AB and Smith to be that focal point and not Barkley. Okay, so he ran the ball, so that's why he pulled. That's why he pulled Saquon Barkley so that he won't get the record. He did that. Barkley sounded good. Barkley, I would have told him just like this. Go out there, go get that record. Yeah, no, look how they playing. But I'm gonna get into the picks now for Saturday and Sunday games. Um, do y'all want to go first, or y'all want us to go first? How y'all want to do this? All right. Well, I'm gonna lead off with Will. So Will got the Packers, the Jaguars, the Cowboys, the Rams, the Raiders over the Chiefs. Hold on. He got the Packers over the Vikings. He got the Jaguars over the Titans. He got the Cowboys over the Giants. He got the Rams over the Cardinals. He got the Raiders over the Chiefs. He got the Eagles over the Commanders. He got the Patriots over the Dolphins. He got the Bills. He got the Bears over the Lions. He got the Chargers over the Broncos. He got the Bills over the Jets, and he got the Ravens over the Steelers. I I got Carolina over Tampa. I got Seattle over San Fran. I got Atlanta over New Orleans. I got Cincinnati over Cleveland. I got Houston over the Colts. I got Jacksonville over Tennessee. I got Green Bay over Minnesota. Unfortunately, I got to twist my lips to say this. I got the Cowboys over the Giants. That hurts. That really hurts. No. You gotta send me that meme. You gotta send it to me again. Yeah. So I can send it to him. I got Buffalo over the Jets. I got Detroit over Chicago. I got Denver over the Chargers. I got the Rams over the Cardinals. I got the Chargers over the Cardinals. And I'm with you, Will. I'm going with Las Vegas over Kansas City. Yeah, they gonna get their third win and possibly get out that number one spot. Yeah, that's true too. Damn. Uh, yeah, because Briscoe likes him. Tom Brady likes him. I got New England over Miami. I got Washington over Philly because Philly is on resting their starters and they really ain't got nothing to play for. And I'm sorry to say, but I got the bearded wonder Superman over the Ravens. The man got the beard back. I got the bearded wonder over the Ravens. Tom Brady and the Steelers is going to beat the Ravens, and it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 23-20. Huh? I mean, that's Tom Brady. That's Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. All right. All right. Who y'all got? Okay. Okay. Oh, no. Go ahead. Real mute. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Colin. All right, and I think the only one that you're missing is the Washington Philly game. The Washington Philly game is the only one you pick. And the I enjoy the song.